Hey, my name's James Nicholson. The Federal Reserve has indicated they're going to start cutting interest rates. This is big news because the UK Bank of England, we have a little phrase called follow the Fed. So if the Federal Reserve start cutting rates, it's a sure sign that the Bank of England is likely to be considering doing that very, very soon as well. Now, this is an interesting video because I'm going to get a little political here. I'm going to talk about Donald Trump in this video, and I want you guys to be kind and polite in the video. I'm not going to tell you whether I like the guy or don't like the guy, but I do think that this Fed rate cut could be politically motivated. They say they don't want to be political. I think they might be actually wrong on this occasion. So I'm going to talk to you about why Donald Trump might actually impact rate cuts and the Federal Reserve in the next few months. So before we jump into this, as always, if you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We're nearly at 26,000 subscribers. You can see around this video how close we actually are. And while you're here, let's get the YouTube algorithm going by smashing the like button, tickling the like button. Do something to that like button. That really helps me with YouTube and gets more eyeballs on the content. So I appreciate everybody that does that. So, Donald Trump, controversial topic, I know. You either love him or you hate him. And America is on a knife edge in the election at the moment. But here's something interesting. Donald Trump does not like Jay Powell. He does not like Jay Powell. Jay Powell is the head of the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve is meant to be separate from the government like the Bank of England is in the UK. However, the government do have in both sides some sway. They will put some pressure onto those central banks in order to try and get things moving if they feel that is the right thing. Now, Donald Trump has interestingly said and almost kind of threatened Jay Powell in the last few days, saying you must not cut interest rates. He's saying you must not cut interest rates. He's saying inflation is out of control. It's not the right thing to do. And basically, in my opinion, Donald Trump wouldn't want a rate cut prior to an election because it would favour Biden, right? It obviously would favour Biden. If the rates start coming down, inflation starts coming down, it makes Biden's job a little easier. And it is such a close election. So Trump's coming out there saying, don't cut rates. Now, he's also interviewed about Jay Powell, and he says in that interview, would he keep Jay Powell on? Now, he can't just go ahead and fire Jay Powell, but he can put pressure on and make it really difficult for him to stay in that job. There would be legal challenges if he just tried to get rid of the guy. But he could make it quite tough for Jay Powell that he would probably look at resigning. And Donald Trump says he would keep Jay Powell if he does the right thing leading up to the election. Kind of a bit like a mob boss there. And so what I see happening is that Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve, they know that if Donald Trump gets in power, they're going to lose their jobs, right? That's quite likely to happen. He's in his job until 2026, but he would likely either resign or leave his job quite soon after inauguration in January of 2025. And so right now, the Federal Reserve are coming out and saying, we are going to start cutting interest rates. And they always do that to prepare the markets. And it feels to me like that maybe they're doing that to spite Trump. I do believe that they've got to look at the data. I do believe that they have got to bring inflation under control. But I also believe that if they can help Biden a little bit, then they probably will. Now, I don't have a problem with that because I want interest rates to drop. I borrow considerable amounts of money, way north of £1 million in mortgage debt. And so if rates drop, that's good for me. It was easier to do deals when rates were lower and the market was moving up. House prices were going up a little faster. Now in a flat market, I can still make money. I can still do deals. But yeah, of course, I would like interest rates to go down. Now, what the Federal Reserve have is their other officials and board members that are doing interviews all the time, all around at different universities, at business meetings and stuff like that. And they're now seeding that they're looking to cut rates. And they're even giving likelihood dates. So it looks likely that they have a meeting this month, next week, the end of July, and they're saying it's probably not likely that they'll cut rates then, and the markets tend to agree. But what they are saying is that we will cut rates, likely they're looking at now is September. And so that's even if inflation doesn't hit the 2% target, which is why I do think this is a little political, but I'm not in America. I do feel that if they want to do that, they can do that, and it gets the Bank of England their reason to cut rates. Otherwise, they're probably just going to hold off cutting rates till December or November for no reason other than they don't want to be seen political. But because they're getting this threats from Donald Trump, I feel like they're just going to act and get things done a lot quicker. So they're saying September. They're also now expecting to cut in November, and they're also looking to cut in December. There's no meeting in October, right? So it's likely that the Federal Reserve will go from a rate of 5.5% down to 4.75% this year, which is a big change. It is a big change, and this is dependent on, look, if inflation goes up to 4%, they can't do this. Of course they can't do it. But if it's on the fence and they feel, maybe we should wait until after the election and it's close now, I think that they're going to cut rates. If they're seeding this information out, they want the markets to be prepared to price in rate cuts. That's what they're talking about. If you look at all the news outlets that have covered this story in the last week, they all agree with what we're saying here. September, November, December, 3 cuts this year. Bank of England will have meetings very close to those dates, and likelihood is that we would cut at a similar pace, which would be really, really good way to end 2024. It would also start stimulating the market, because I've talked this week about transaction volume is down massively at the moment, 25%. Now, the reason house prices aren't crashing because of that is there are buyers to match the sellers at a fairly equal rate at the moment. But if we get to a point where there are sellers that are just desperate to sell, that just need to get that property on the market right now, then you could start seeing more and more offers, reductions and offers and stuff like that, and the prices could start moving before these rate cuts have an opportunity to take effect. So it's interesting to see this. This is a little bit more opinion. Look, I'm not saying I like Donald Trump or I dislike Donald Trump. What I'm saying, just to be clear, is that I think that Donald Trump is in a way threatening the Federal Reserve not to cut rates. And I think that they are thinking, we're going to lose our jobs anyway if this guy gets into power. So maybe we shouldn't be biased, but maybe we might be that little bit more biased towards Biden and cut rates and maybe give him more chance of getting back into the White House, or whoever Biden's replacement might be. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Do smash like, do subscribe, do check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.